More and more as time goes on, the cartoon medium continues to push its previous boundaries. And I don't just mean with revolutionary steps, but with pushing past conventions to make something special. The first season introduced the viewers to a magical world that has a very lax presentation while being committed to its lore and ideas. The characters are fun, albeit a bit extra sometimes, and the story does a good job with establishing each moment as worthwhile. Aside from a couple episodes that missed the mark for me, this season for the most part exceeds my expectations. It's able to bring back older elements in a new, interesting context, and the newer ideas presented fit well into the story. I'm going to be seeing how intricate Trollberg really is with Hilda Season 2. In terms of what works about this season, it's pretty much everything. This story is very effective with establishing its fantasy themes. I always found it interesting that although it's a fantasy world, people are ignorant of its inner workings and live mostly normal lives. The people throughout the town are no less interesting for it though, with each person having some kind of charm to them. The dock workers, the safety patrol, the Vikings locked in constant battle, all of them were fun. I've seen some people describe this season as darker compared to the first, but that isn't exactly accurate. It's just as lighthearted and fun-focused as it has been. The difference here for me is the maturity of the themes and the storytelling with some more suspense added in. One episode I think showcases this very well is episode 8, The 50-Year Night. The focus is on an older neighbor named Mr. Austenfield, who's been going back in time to relive the best night of his life. A girl he met years ago at a bar that he hit it off with but was never able to find them again afterwards. Hilda, being the headstrong person that she is, decides to change the past so the two of them can end up together. This spirals the episode into chaos with a giant worm trying to fix the newly formed timeline by removing anything that doesn't fit. Yes, this episode does have some deathly elements, but nothing is gruesome, and at most it's a tearjerker at the end with how it concludes. In terms of the characters, they didn't all go through the kinds of developments like in season 1. Most of the side characters remained how they were at the end of the first season, excluding David, who ends up becoming a bit more confident in himself by the end. The bulk of the character development is centered on Hilda and her relationship with her mom. Something this season did very well was integrate the important ideas into even the smallest parts. Hilda's mom is having issues with being lied to, and this progression is shown in previous episodes by Hilda's behavior towards her. The same with Twig. Him escaping to the wilderness is directly because Hilda ignores him in the earlier episodes. The first season felt a lot more anthological, with every event being somewhat disconnected from the last. Here, many of the important plot points are because of past actions. The tide mice infestation is because Hilda failed to do the incantation for dispelling them properly. The Lindworm is being pursued by the safety patrol because he is being mistaken for another creature, a creature that the safety patrol made appear unknowingly with their large bells. Everything feels connected and helps establish a more proper timeline instead of a bunch of random stories being grouped together. The most effective aspect of this season for me was how they expanded on previously established characters, lore, and storylines. The elves trying to replace Alpha. Victoria and Nissa lore, everything is brought back here. Each one brought with some new ideas to explore, or for a more in-depth look into a character, or even just to have some fun moments from their presence. A mark of a good story is its ability to bring back past ideas and make them feel fresh again. When world building, everything should feel like an aspect of the world rather than a plot point. There are a lot of moving parts. People have their own lives, and not everything is focused around the main characters. If a story is made with only the main cast in mind, the world building can fall flat because things will only happen due to the main character being a factor. Not to say this story doesn't have plot conveniences, but they aren't very frequent and the story is strong regardless. I'm definitely hyped to see where they take this storyline. They introduced lore about the trolls, how they are a lot smarter than they appear, and some are even capable of magic-like abilities. The season ending with Hilda becoming a troll was definitely jarring and an effective way to help drag the viewer back into the theory of the plot's future. While I do assume a season 3 will happen, only time will tell. What did you think of season 2? Let me know in the comments below. I know this one's a bit shorter, but it's not too hard to explain and establish what makes this season so fantastic. If you enjoyed, check out the playlist for more videos like this one. I hope to see you next time.